This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
"24 hours, 1,000 flights, 90,000 people. Every arrival and departure scheduled down to the minute. What could possibly go wrong?
It'd be nice if you could give us more than a maybe you'll get on the next flight. That would be good.
Razor blade, it's not allowed on the plane. Knives of any size, not allowed.
People just walk away and leave a suitcase. In this world, you don't do that kind of stuff.
You can't bring this kind of things into the country like this.
Alert 2, stay off the frequency, please.
157, we got a little smoke here on your tire.
Yes, sir. The operations have ceased at MIA due to lightning in the vicinity.
Join us as we take you behind the no entry signs at Miami International Airport. It's 5 a.m. and the start of a new day for many employees at Miami International Airport.
So the mobile units, please, today is pay special attention to the garages and try to target any individuals hanging around in the garages there.
Good morning, John. How are you?
Across the nation, it's looking fairly good. We're not expecting any flight delays across the board.
If you got anything on the second flight we're going to hit, let us know. As you're checking the
In the next 24 hours, nearly 90,000 people will arrive at this, America's third busiest international airport. It's up to a staff of 38,000 employees to see that passengers, bags, and possessions make it through the system and onto their planes on time. But not every day starts according to plan.
You getting me that it's a 10:50 departure? It's a 10.
This is the American Airlines Operations Center. American handles more than 60% of all commercial flights in and out of MIA.
Eddie?
Yes, ma'am.
Eddie Perez is overseeing 11 gates and 15 agents.
What do you want to do? We already got the out time, and
He's got 33 aircraft to turn before the end of his 8-hour shift.
All right.
His day has started badly.
Today's a tough day for us. Today's a recovery day because of the weather from yesterday. We had a very severe thunderstorm come over the airport, and we had to close the ramp because of the lightning over the field. And that just caused a domino effect for the rest of the day yesterday. All these flights are all late today because of that. In my zone alone, and I'm only watching 11 gates, and that's just my little part of the airport.
Eddie coordinates ground and gate operations. That means checking a plane gets cleaned, refueled, loaded, and boarded on time for scheduled departure. Yesterday's weather has made his job harder.
Today is the day that we try to push everything back together so that tomorrow we can go back on schedule. Today's the day that we have to cut a minute here and try to cut a minute there and try to save a turn.
But at gate D45, one of Eddie's flights is already in trouble.
1487, service to Chicago.
David Collery is boarding his first flight out, scheduled for 6:30 a.m.
I do have a lot of connecting customers that I'm missing. We are, 20 minutes from departure, and I'm missing 87 people. They're probably still in customs. They have baggage. Most of them are coming on international flights that arrived at 5:40, 5:22. So it's going to be hard-pressed for those people to make it to this gate.
All inbound passengers off international flights must clear customs and border protection checkpoints and be security screened before catching connecting flights. A late arrival starts a chain reaction.
A lot of flights from Central South America in the morning have air traffic control delays. So if they've missed the flight, now we have them on standby for the next flight, and so on and so on. It's just a snowball that progresses. I don't know just yet. You're going to have to give me about 10 minutes. Okay?
David already has a number of standby passengers stranded by yesterday's weather. With minutes to go, David calls the ops room for instructions. Delay the plane for the missing passengers,
I've got operations on the phone. We're trying to
or give the seats to the standbys.
I mean, if we do it in 1 hour, if we do a 60-minute connect time, can you...
As today's operation chief, Abby Miller is the only one who can make that decision.
challenges today are very heavy load factors, 98% load factors. We have 36,000 passengers coming through Miami. Unfortunately, we have an airline to run. We have to continue going on schedule, and sometimes you're unable to get all the passengers to the gate on time. When that happens, you have to make a decision as to, do we go without the passengers or do we wait for them?
In the case of Flight 1487 to Chicago, the decision is no delay.
Okay, no hold, so I'm going to drop and process standbys. Vaughn Clinton, checking at the desk.
Final count, 7 passengers left behind. That's good news for the standbys.
Thank you, go right on board.
Now the pressure's on. David and the crew have just a few minutes to seat the standbys, close the door, and push back from the gate.
Hey, there he goes there.
Eddie's watching like a hawk.
We're now at 1 minute and 50 seconds to departure, and they still haven't closed that door, so we're late right now.
Check to make sure everything is clear.
But okay, here goes the door now. So the guys will now, they'll disconnect the ground power, all the support equipment, and they'll prepare it for push out.
American 435, you're clear to push tail east. Release spot 11 north, please. Good morning.
Echo 8, American.
1 down, 196 to go. The day has begun. Meanwhile, the missing passengers have shown up at the gate.
Apparently, we had to go through security again, and they gave our seats away because we weren't here on time to board.
You have to be on board the aircraft 15 minutes prior to departure. If not, we return the seats.
Their only option now is to join the standby list for seats on a later plane.
There's always a chance.
A chance?
There's always a chance.
It'd be nice if you could give us more than a maybe you'll get on the next flight. That would be good.
Well, I can tell you, yes, that you would make it, sir, but that would be lying to you. I don't know. I'm not going to lie. I don't want to lie to you. But there's always a chance. I mean, good things come from good thoughts. Always think positive. I mean, it's...
With the first flight closed, David has a chance to get his bearings.
Looks like I have a few challenges today. I have 6 flights assigned to this gate today. If everything's on schedule, we'll be doing really good. If something falls behind schedule, then my biggest challenge is going to be to turn that plane as quick as possible, do the best job I can, keep everybody happy, and get them on their way. Get them in, get them out, move on is my motto.
Watch yourself! Watch yourself!
Getting passengers on and off the plane is only half the equation.
First bags away.
On the airfield, below the ramp, is a whole other set of operations.
He's got the low sheet.
Ray Calderon is Ramp Services Manager for Aviation Subcontractors, Swissport International. And he's got a schedule to keep. Santa Barbara Airlines out of Caracas, Venezuela is due for departure in 35 minutes.
All right, what's the status on this flight? I need the low sheet and I got to get it out. Do we have a low sheet ready? I got to dump these bags. There are at least 200-something bags on this aircraft. I got to get it into customs, and I got to start load this place simultaneously.
An airline doesn't make money when the plane's on the ground, so turning a plane fast is the driving force behind airline operations.
Catering takes care of everything that has to do with the kitchen, so to speak. Which you're going to put in fresh ice, sodas, water, food, the forks and knives and all that stuff. We got to take the dirty water from the bathrooms out of there. We got to go dump it. We got to get this plane nice and fresh, ready to go.
Ray must also make sure every bag is loaded and accounted for.
I got to get 80 bags on this front hold right now. Bell, where are we putting these? This guy's ready to come and pump 40,000 pounds of fuel. What we're going to do is we're going to spread it between both wings and the center tank, right? It's just to keep the plane balanced as it's burning and it's flying through the air. No big deal. So we can
With 10 minutes to spare, Ray's crew is done.
Well, no, I'm okay. As long as I get my airplane closed up and ready to go, my job is done. The problem now is upstairs. When it takes them too long to board, it puts us in a bind. So now I'm running behind the 8-ball. I got another flight that's going to be here 15 minutes, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to meet it on time.
The fact is, there are some things over which the airlines have no control. It's just 7 a.m., But already Customs and Border Protection checkpoints are backed up with passengers off flights from Latin America. Officer Lester Silva is supervising. How quickly you get through this stage of the process has everything to do with how carefully you read your customs declaration form.
Sir, these are plums, sir. I asked you whether you have any fruits. You told me no. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll tell you what happens here. You can get a fine of up to $300.
CBP agricultural specialists carefully control animal, fruit, and plant products coming into the country. It's to prevent the spread of disease and insects potentially harmful to the U.S. agricultural industry. The floor this morning looks more like a village market than a customs checkpoint.
So we got, where are these passengers coming from?
Colombia.
Colombia. What kind of fruit is that they have?
It's a zapote. The English one.
Zapote. There's one right there. ¿Esos son?
You come here?
Yeah. What you're looking at here is the larva of the fruit fly. Now, each one of these little larvae will make 100 eggs, will make another 100 eggs, and before long you have an infestation.
Nothing beats a beagle for searching out food.
Yeah, these are big ones.
These friendly inspectors nail about 67,000 pounds of edible contraband every year. And they work for doggy treats.
There you go. Take care, thank you.
Other items are prohibited by an international agreement to protect endangered species.
What kind of business are you in? You have a restaurant?
No.
No restaurant? Your parents eat this?
This woman is transporting a large quantity of dried fish, including about 50 pounds of shark fins and 600 seahorses.
Did she declare this too?
Yes, I did.
You can't bring this kind of things into the country like this.
This has come through here like several times, like 3 or 4 times since my tenure working here. They have been seized. That's why I stopped and called Fish and Wildlife, because they are endangered and people are just harvesting them, like the shark fins and all that. As you can see, the amount is pretty large, so.
Inspectors will seize the items until agents of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife confirm if these items are prohibited and whether any criminal charges will be brought.
Whose kid is that? Senora. Contacts, where are you? Ma'am, can you take her off the car, please?
Every time a passenger is detained at secondary, the information on the customs declaration form is entered into an interagency border inspection system.
How many fences have they declared before?
1, 2, 3.
When it comes to food, mistakes can be forgiven.
16.
And how
but you could get a fine.
$300 just for little fruit.
Yeah.
It's their money, my friend.
Oh, no, yeah. That's what happens when you are not truthful to a customs officer. Okay?
Some passengers don't make it through the system at all. Officer Carrie Plank has been called to a situation.
The lady right here, she's Bolivian, okay? She's Bolivian national. She presented a passport for entrance into the United States. However, during further inspection of the passport, it was determined that she's illegally here in the United States. She admits that she's been using welfare to obtain certain benefits in the state of New York, and she's going to be returned back to her country of Bolivia, where she will normally be banned for approximately 10 years.
It's 8 a.m. and the house is packed.
Hey, Pastor, we're going on 1888 to Boston.
Terminal 1 South to T3 South.
Tony Cooper is Senior Terminal Operations Agent for the morning.
In the line, again, we are backed up with the TSA lines.
He's the public face of the airport, managing crowds, helping passengers, and soothing nerves.
When you come to the airport, you're here to fly out. We know that. You're here to depart. So we want to make sure that transition is smooth. Remember, once you get into an airport, a lot of times people are stressed out. They don't know where to go. They're trying to figure out where their airline is.
It's E33.
That's a challenge each and every day. Smile. There you go.
Well, right now, both the 1,400 cars.
With almost 90,000 passengers traveling through the system on a daily basis, operations are designed to resolve all possible disruptions in minutes.
Here at the D-Delta Skyride, both elevators are out. It's been reported.
Okay, North 323. You got it?
Nobody in here. Hey, this way.
But like any rush hour, accidents happen.
Someone had an accident?
Lady, you walked into this glass. Yeah, I had two kids flying to Holland.
What airline you flying with?
With Martin Air to Amsterdam.
All you do, you stay calm, and they'll come down. This right here, this the glass you walked into? And they realize that this person or this individual is trying to help them. We're going to do something so nobody else, that would happen to someone else.
Thank you.
Okay.
The airport is like a small city. It has a force of personnel, police, fire and rescue that must respond to any incident in 3 minutes.
Got any medical conditions, ma'am?
The woman is shaken but unharmed
Saw the Martin Air rep hit it.
and gradually relaxes.
I wanted to go out, and the window is too clear for me, so I wanted to walk through the window, perhaps. Stupid, but anyhow.
It's not
it happened.
stupid. It's not stupid. It just happened that the window is clear.
I never have such an attention.
Tony Cooper has handled the situation, and the woman will make her plane.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Miami International Airport has grown and expanded over its 80-year history. It's a huge part of Florida's economy, hosting 96 airlines, 250 retail spaces, and a cargo business of nearly 2 million tons of freight a year.
I'm going to do Echo 7 to Seoul.
The airport is operated by Miami Dade-County Aviation Department.
Tango Echo 01 Charlie.
And in a post-9/11 world, security is priority number one.
I want to just check and make sure that the checkpoints...
Lauren Stover has scheduled a security walkthrough with Sergeant Rudy Espinoza. As Assistant Director of Security and Communications, it's her job to watch for any vulnerability in this $25 billion industry.
That's a tag bag, and they got it under control. It's from the curb to the cockpit, where we have all kinds of systems in place. Our landside operations is out there queuing 40,000 vehicles on the upper drive, trying to keep the vehicles going. We have a huge taxi cab force of thousands of taxi cabs. We got to try to keep them honest. Our terminal operations here, working with the airlines, trying to get the 90,000 passengers and get them screened and get them to their gates. And we keep all of this going, working with our gate assignment and working with the air carriers to make sure that the people are all getting where they have to be safely with these guys who carry big guns. And that's what I love.
Pickup 54 at building 5A on the 4th floor.
The Miami-Dade Police Department is a vital component of security, responding to calls of unattended vehicles,
24 attack for me, please.
securing terminal,
How are you?
airfield, parking garages, and curbside operations.
K9 and OCR to upper.
We have to live every single day here with the thought that maybe somebody's going to come out and attack this facility. We don't know whether it's a suicide bomber. We don't know whether it will be a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device. These are all your bags? Okay.
But the most common security issue is unattended bags.
We get a couple hundred a month. I mean, it's amazing. People just walk away and leave a suitcase. In this world, you don't do that kind of stuff.
These canines are specially trained to alert on explosives. And that's just what they're about to find. Canine Officer Laurel Huff has a special assignment.
What I have in here is basically a pound of smokeless powder. It's gunpowder. It's one of the odors that the dogs are trained on. So they get to find something today. Hey, how are you? The dogs are in the terminal a majority of their day, gentlemen. They respond to a lot of unattended bag calls. So every once in a while, they have to find something.
An officer is assigned to keep an eye on the bag.
People steal things, and it would be really bad if somebody stole this. Come on, Mama, let's go to work.
When the dog detects the odor of explosives, it's trained to quietly sit.
Stay. It is an explosive. You can't have the dog aggress on the odor or nudge it because it's going to explode.
And they do it all for play.
She thinks she's going to get her reward. All she knows is that she's been trained to sniff a certain chemical compound, and when she sniffs that compound, she sits and she gets her toy. Obviously, if she knew it was an explosive, she wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here.
It's 10 a.m. Nationally, there are 4,322 planes in the air. 48 are heading into Miami. On an average day at MIA, over 1,000 planes will take off and land in a 24-hour period. In the air and on the runway, the planes are controlled by the Federal Aviation Administration.
Runway 8 right, clear for takeoff.
But on the ground, getting them on and off the gates is the responsibility of the gate tower controllers.
Yes, sir. Make sure you release between Echo 10 and Echo 20.
Rick Carrera has been on shift since 6 a.m. this morning.
It's a very smooth day today. You're just getting the regular ho-hum stuff. The thing is, when things go wrong, they happen really fast. You got to react fast, and it's over fast. What I do is control the traffic in between the alleyways, let the aircraft push back off the gates, and also bring them into the gates. Coordinate that without running them into one another. Schedule's important because timing is everything. There's only a certain amount of gates. Schedules are submitted at least 30 days in advance. American 1068, taxi 11 north, contact ground 121.8, please. Of course, real-time operations doesn't always turn out like the schedule. Good morning. And we have to roll with it. We have to just, things happen, mechanical problems happen, breakdowns, weather, lightning. Excuse me. All right, 1234. You're clear to push tail east. Release the beam Echo 8, please.
For safety reasons at MIA, no plane is permitted to reverse thrust out of their parking spot.
When you say push, you're talking about an aircraft pushing back off of a gate. They're actually pushing the aircraft back with a tug. And they push it back, and then they pull it forward to the designated spot where they can start their engines and actually use thrust to go out to the taxiways.
It's the gate tower controllers that provide the information all passengers wait for.
When the flight arrives at the airport and parks at its parking spot, we will post it as arrived. There he goes. That was our spider that lives in the camera that watches spot 1. We haven't had any reason to take any extra precaution against the spider, so we don't want PETA calling us up. And there he goes.
The airfield at MIA occupies an expanse of over 1,400 acres. Access is strictly controlled, so only authorized personnel can get close to the aircraft. This man goes where he pleases. Ray Vergara, a.k.a. Ramp 1.
Oh, I love my job. I'm the guy that opens and closes the runways.
He's the ultimate groundskeeper, ensuring the airfield is properly maintained.
Pilots from the sky can see it. If they're landing, runway's closed.
But there's one thing that keeps him up at night. Debris on the runway. FOD.
Sweeper's gonna go on their own and pick up some FOD. Foreign object damage is FOD. I have nightmares about FOD. We can't have anything that will interfere with the aircraft upon landing or upon taxiing out of the runways. Like, for example, here's a piece of debris here. We gotta pick that up. And it's actually a dead bird.
The importance of picking this up is that the airport doesn't want vultures or birds of prey anywhere near the aircraft.
We used to have rabbits in the airport. We got rid of the rabbits due to that fact that you would run them over, they die on the side, and then you would have a vulture coming down, and those are the ones that cause a lot of damages, like turkey buzzards. We have a lot of those here in Miami. and it can get ingested by an engine, and the aircraft would cause, big damage to the aircraft could go down.
Ray's spent the morning cleaning up FOD after the storms of yesterday and checking for lightning damage.
This time of year in the summer is the thunderstorms that we get, and we'll have a lightning come down, creating potholes. If the pothole is more than 5 inches in diameter or 3 inches deep, we have to close the runway.
For now, at least, the runways are clear, pothole and FOD-free.
Laptop computers and large electronics.
Back in the terminal, the daily migration is proceeding smoothly. But everyone has to pass the watchful eye of the Transportation Security Administration. One of their top priorities is to ensure the safety of the traveling public.
We have inspectors out at the fuel farm.
And prevent any terrorist acts from occurring on commercial aircraft. Their most visible activity is operating the security checkpoints prior to boarding. Tom Capodiferro is supervisory officer at Checkpoint D. The lines are backed up, but there's no rushing security.
Ma'am, is this your bag? Anytime we have any items that could be used to make an improvised device or anything that may be harmful, any type of hazardous material, all those items need to be checked.
The work is repetitive, and Tom's daily challenge is to keep his team alert.
TSA has to keep our focus every day for all the bags that are coming through, not get complacent. Even though we saw stereo equipment 20 minutes ago, we're seeing another stereo. Each one has to be checked individually to make sure that it is what it's supposed to be.
Trouble is, in this day and age, it seems almost everything is a potential weapon.
Is this your bag?
Any suspicious items or bags are put through a secondary test. Basically, officers swab the item with a pad, which is then heated, vaporizing all chemical residues, which the machine then identifies. Explosive-related compounds will alert. The security screening checkpoints can cause passenger delays, but Tom can't let that interfere with the job.
We'd like everybody to get on their flight and be on time. We'd like all bags to connect properly, but we do need to keep the traveling public safe, and we need to do one bag at a time and one person at a time and make sure that happens.
Checked bags have a similar experience. 100% are X-rayed and checked for weapons and hazardous materials. But unlike passengers, they take another route to get to the plane. When a passenger checks a piece of luggage, an agent attaches a barcoded tag. This tag will determine where the bag goes next. This is the Matrix. A 5-mile-long automated conveyor system that moves through the underbelly of the airport. At key junctions, lasers read the barcoded tag, and pushers shunt the items in the right direction. This system allows airline operators to track the location of any piece of checked luggage at all times. In theory, at least.
How many bags did they find?
Eddie, they found 4 bags and
Oh, they said they were clear of the Montego Bay bags, but they found more Montego Bay bags, so we already let the airplane depart. Once we're off the gate, we're not going to bring that plane back unless we have a huge amount of bags. And I know the 4 people that aren't going to get their bags will be upset, but we need to go.
While Eddie tries to keep track of the bags, Abby has her eye on another potential problem.
Today there is weather activity south of the airport. It is developing. The green is rain. the yellow and the reds and oranges, it means lightning, and that's what we need to stay away from. So I kind of keep an eye on it to ensure that if it's moving this way, we can plan accordingly. This is the actual airport terminal. This is a 3-mile radius around the airport, so if I have a lightning strike here, right inside the center, that's when we close the ramp. I will make an announcement that goes over every single radio at the airport for American Airlines to tell everybody, go inside, take cover, it is dangerous to be outside because of lightning.
My name's David, I'll be in the...
David Collery, meanwhile, is doing well.
Watch your step when you enter the jetway. Thank you.
He has managed to turn his first 3 flights on schedule. But now he's got another problem. This time, it's the crew that's running late.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're traveling to Atlanta on flight 1762, your attention please. Well, the crew that was taking this plane out was coming in from Washington. Unfortunately, they left late for whatever reason, so now that delayed our departure here. I'm going to ask for your patience and apologize if it goes past that. The customers doesn't seem to understand that, you know, we are running an operation that starts early in the morning and continues throughout the day, you know, and everything is joined together. Well, we'll have to,
this plane has dropped behind schedule, and tensions are rising.
Somebody else get my seat.
Because when your reservation canceled,
Well,
it
my
went...
reservation
It did cancel, ma'am. Listen, I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off, and please, don't want to be rude, but we're running out of time. I have a meal voucher if you'd like to grab something right here, au bon pain, and this way we get you something to eat on the plane, and I have a seat for you, okay? And I'll have your seat right here.
The crew finally arrives, and the plane can be boarded.
Thank you.
Another late flight, man.
Another late flight.
Another late flight.
My tie? It's a clip-on. Safety issue. Number one, you don't get caught in an aircraft door. It also comes in handy if somebody wants to grab you by the neck. Comes right off. Goes right back on. Quick change. Can I help you?
It's 2 p.m. at MIA. Customs and Border Protection officers are out in force, trying to expedite inbound international passengers through the system.
How's that look?
But behind the scenes is a whole other set of operations. Officer Lester Silva and Supervisor Bobby Rivera are following up on a tip regarding narcotics activity out of Colombia.
All right, and what we'll do is we'll bring the people down here.
This is the Passenger Analytical Unit, where passenger lists of inbound flights are double-checked against various counterterrorism and national crime databases.
On that particular flight?
It's also the intelligence unit of the operation, where intel is processed and response is planned.
What we'll do is we're going to have K9 out there. You guys are going to line up, check the passports 100%. If you guys, while you're checking, something looks interesting, something that doesn't look right, pass it on. We'll be standing in the background. If we want to go further, we'll call you down here. We'll bring them down here. We'll go a little more intense on their luggage.
Where are you coming from?
Ecuador, okay.
The team has selected a flight coming out of Medellin, Colombia, in Terminal A.
Tommy, we're going to work it up here.
Officer Tom Witkowski is handling Cooper.
Ven acá, por favor. These dogs are so smart. I mean, they know everything. Our fear right now is we teach them how to drive. These guys are going to be out of a job, so. Right this way, sir.
Unlike the police terminal canines, these dogs are trained to alert on narcotics. But like the police, CBP regularly uses planted training aids to keep the dogs on their game.
And that's the dog's reward. Muchas gracias, señora. Now he's excited. Now he's pumped up because he got his reward. He thinks there's something here, and he wants to get to play again.
Customs and Border Protection use canines because they focus on one thing, the narcotic.
Canine is a great tool. Canine doesn't discriminate. Canine doesn't see color. They're just trained for the narcotic order. So that's a great tool.
How long did you stay in Colombia?
While the canine works the line, officers check documents and conduct preliminary questioning of the passengers. They're trained to quickly establish the passenger's identity and watch for anything that strikes the wrong chord.
There's a lot of things. There's just not one per se thing that we look for. It's just a matter of behavior. It's a combination of a lot of different things. We'll take them all down. Let's all walk.
They've selected a handful of passengers for secondary questioning.
What we'll do is We'll ask them several questions, and just depending on what answers they give us, if we want to go a little more intense on their search. And from here, we'll take them down to passport control, check their documents, then go downstairs, collect their luggage, and see what they have.
In the meantime, Officer Silva and the K-9 unit have moved on to a second flight, now in passport control. And here, Cooper makes a find. The passenger is taken down to Officer Silva, who conducts a preliminary interview. But Silva's experience tells him they're on the wrong track.
He had a wad of money in his pocket. You know, a lot of times the scent of drugs is on the money. And since he had a wad of money in his pocket, that may be why the dog alerted to this. Money is associated with drugs at times, and he's coming from Colombia. So if somebody was smoking marijuana and he got changed last night at a place where that person exchanged hands that was smoking, well, that scent will stay on the money, and that money's now in his pocket, and the dog will alert to his pocket.
Rivera and his team are waiting for the selectees to retrieve their luggage.
Something out of the ordinary is what you're looking at. You know, this kid back here, he's coming for one day just to visit a friend who he doesn't even know. So right away, a couple of bells and whistles goes off, so that's somebody we need to talk to further.
The second pair have been selected because of a stuffed toy, but neither claim to be visiting a child.
And let's say, for argument's sake, he does have narcotics. But the guy who's meeting him doesn't know him, and he doesn't know the guy. So the guy will call here and say, hey, stop the guy that has the Barney. That's the guy you got to make contact with. See? Yeah, we got a guy.
Silva joins the team for secondary questioning.
And the father, the old man, is carrying Barney. You know that pink stuffed animal?
Yeah, I'm familiar with him.
So, are you familiar with Barney?
Yeah, I see him around.
I don't go back that far. Anyway, so what happens is that I asked him, who's that for? He says, no, it's my good luck charm.
Yeah.
So the guy is 50 plus carrying Barney. I mean, hey, listen, if it's a good luck charm, it's a good luck charm.
You say he was going to New York?
Yeah. You speak English?
No.
¿Cuál es el propósito de su viaje aquí?
Vacaciones.
¿Qué tipo de vacaciones?
As Officer Peggy Washington searches the pair's bags, Rivera tries to establish where father and son will be staying.
Es un apartamento.
¿Y todos se van a quedar en el apartamento?
Sí, pues nosotros dos nos quedamos en una habitación.
As Rivera gets more intrusive, the story starts to sound suspicious.
En Queens, 4 habitaciones, un apartamento muy grande. ¿Estás seguro? ¿O quiere que te dé tiempo para que piense las conquistas que me va a dar?
Pues es que la verdad no estoy seguro. Eso es lo que él me ha contado porque yo no lo he visto.
¿Tú nunca has ido?
No, nunca he ido.
La primera vez que va a ir está residente. Okay. Okay. He's saying that they're going to go to a friend's house in New York, in Queens, to stay over in an apartment. But he's never been to the guy's apartment before. She said, yeah, I've been there before, and I've stayed there. Now he's saying he didn't stay there before. The thing is this. Where they're staying, it's his friends, and the old man's going to be staying 15 days longer at his friend's house, who he's never met.
Tú querías traer los gatos contigo para 2 días.
Officer Silva, meanwhile, questions the young traveler going to Chicago for a day. It turns out his reasons for traveling are legitimate. He's picking up pets that his mother has bought over the internet.
Unos gatos. It's a cat story.
Where's the cat at?
There's no cats. The cats is going to be picked up in Chicago.
Are they special cats?
Now we're finding out that the guy he's meeting in Chicago is a cat dealer. Okay. Cat dealer, breeder.
Rivera is still dissatisfied with the father and son story. They have too much luggage for a 15-day trip. And for the son to leave the father with his friends after his departure seems strange. Then Rivera finds something in their paperwork.
¿Quién es Gina? ¿Tu hermana? ¿Tu hermana está dónde?
Señor.
¿Dónde está tu hermana? ¿En Nueva York?
Sí, señor.
Entonces, ¿por qué no me dijiste al principio que tú tenías familia en Nueva York?
No, me preguntaron que si me iba a quedar, ¿dónde me iba a quedar?
¿No se va a quedar con tu hermana?
Con mi hermana no.
¿Con quién vive tu hermana?
Ella vive con mi otra hermana. Ella vive con otra hermana.
Con otra hermana tuya que vive en Nueva York. Señor, una pregunta. ¿Suena lógico que usted tiene familiares en Estados Unidos, en Nueva York, y no se va a quedar con un familiar, pero se va a quedar con una amistad? Que usted no conoce a su papá y no conoce el tamaño del apartamento.
No, obviamente no suena lógico. No suena, pero yo te estoy diciendo la verdad.
For Bobby Rivera, the pieces start to fit.
He's got family in New York. This is for his sisters that are in New York. apparently he's not trying to disclose that they're there because probably they're not there legally.
They're probably illegal.
¿Su hermana está legalmente en los Estados Unidos? No, ¿verdad? Okay.
Father and son are traveling to visit a sister who has a child. Now the toy makes sense. And the fact that the sister may be here illegally explains why neither father nor son wanted to mention who they're visiting. Customs and Border Protection officers are not here to investigate the possible illegal relative in New York. They're here to ensure that those arriving and entering the U.S. do so legally. These two men have broken no laws and are allowed to continue their journey.
Listen up. We have an alert. A possible alert.
Ramp 1, cross runway 12. If you're responding to the emergency, we have 120.35, man.
Ramp 1 to ramp 36. Alert 2, stay off the frequency, please.
In the skies over MIA, an aircraft is in trouble. Emergency fire equipment is immediately dispatched to standby positions on the airfield.
It is an LAB cargo aircraft. They've lost their hydraulics, so they're declaring an alert 2 and they're coming back to Miami. They do have 9 souls on board.
The aircraft is a cargo plane bound for Lima, Peru, that's just taken off from Miami. Part of the job of the hydraulic system is to control the aircraft's steering.
Negative. Also, he's still way out there.
Although the pilot still has control of the plane, emergency landing procedures are in action.
Ramp 36 and ramp 1 on 9, holding short of 12.
No, I'm tracking him right here. He's getting pretty close. He's about 5 minutes out. Did anybody tell Ray?
Is it the one next to land, Ray, or what?
The one over the Palmetto.
All right, here he comes. He's landing now.
921, let's go.
We'll give him priority. As soon as he rolls off the runway, if he doesn't call us, that's just fine. We're just going to get him right in.
Emergency vehicles must be ready to contain any kind of fire or explosion. Ray Vergara has to keep the runway clear.
All right, Ray, from Tango 1, let's do it. Following to make sure that everything is okay on the runway, that he didn't drop any hydraulics or any parts off of the aircraft. We're going to make sure that he clears so that we can give the runway back to the tower.
Boliviano 751 heavy, told you position there. Emergency vehicles are going to come up and give you a check.
Even in this potentially explosive situation, response protocol is designed to limit disruptions in other scheduled air operations.
Emergencies happen. Other airplanes are still moving, so it doesn't stop everybody else.
157, we got a little smoke here on your tire.
The fire commander has spotted some kind of fire on the right main gear. It's probably just smoke, but we'll see. The fire commander has given him the okay to go. The smoke or dust that was on the right side has subsided, and the fire commander has cleared him to go to the gate.
Yeah, the vehicle following you in just wants to know if you require any further assistance. Yeah, sir. Roger, thank you.
With the plane safely on the ground, Ray hands the runway back to the tower.
All airport units, runway 9 is open, runway 9 is open.
Everything is okay. There's one problem was that he lost one of the systems of the aircraft of hydraulics. It has 3 systems. It lost one. And you can see the hydraulic fluid on the ground right now. They're going to work on it and fix it, and then it'll be ready to go again. Good result. Everything is beautiful.
In the terminal, the traffic has hit a late afternoon lull. That doesn't mean a break for first responders. Police patrollers have discovered a car on the parking garage roof. It has been left open, and the engine is still running. Sergeant Rudy Espinoza responds with a K-9 unit. In recent years, there have been a number of international terrorist attacks in public areas using vehicle-borne explosive devices. For a busy airport, this is an ever-present danger. The K-9 quickly determines there are no explosives in the vehicle. But the driver has apparently abandoned the car. His luggage is on the back seat. Officers must consider the possibility of abduction or carjacking.
Oh, maybe that's him.
But the matter is quickly resolved when the driver returns to the roof.
Is that your car?
Before I ran into somebody downstairs, I told me I left it running.
Yeah, you left it running. Were you traveling?
No, I came to get my
your ID.
The man is fully identified and his explanation checked out.
Yeah. It blew out underneath the gate.
Satisfied, Officer Espinoza can write it off as a false alarm.
Phone had moved. So it's just another day in Miami International.
Wind 10014, wind shear alert.
Lauren Stover monitors all such incidents carefully. For her, the safety of MIA is a 24-hour-a-day occupation.
My biggest nightmare is, truthfully, I can't sit here and look you in the face and say that there's no one can pull anything off in this airport. Given the size of this facility, I mean, we do what we can do, but it's real important that we have as many people, eyes and ears out there, that we respond to unattended bags very quickly, that we ensure our doors are all locked up and safeguarded, which is where we do our patrols, that we spot check employees, that we go up to people randomly and ask them if we can check their belongings.
Hello, let me see your passport.
That we're out on our airfield doing sweeps every day with all of the agencies, looking for firearms, looking for illegal aliens. In the wee hours of the morning, we're coming in and we're surprising people in the cargo areas. There's all kinds of places where we could be vulnerable if we're not on top of our game. And we have to do this every day.
But in the end, public enemy number one when it comes to operations is Mother Nature herself.
The weather, act of God. If it's anything else, we have control of it.
I'm hearing thunder, and I think there's some lightning strikes. Hey, Bruce, what we got?
Well, we do have a considerable storm to the east. The storm has just started to come in, and there's just going to be delays.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing from the tower.
Tim, can you change 6101 to 3?
Within minutes, the storm rolls over the airport. Operations come to a halt. Estela Sanchez has just started her shift in the gate tower.
That MIA due to lightning in the vicinity. Take it as it comes. There's not really much we can do. It's just part of Florida here, since it's the #1 capital for lightning strikes in the United States. So it goes with the territory.
With ground operations halted, outbound aircraft are trapped on the gates, and incoming planes are stuck on the tarmac. Every minute operations are down, more flights delay, and the passenger backlog grows. The entire airport is held hostage by the weather, and the seconds tick by.
Right now, we're on about 20 minutes closure. Hopefully, it won't get too bad.
Copy 1017.
Kids have to stay because the escalator is...
After 39 minutes, lightning clears the airfield.
No more lighting in the vicinity of MIA, sir.
That's good to hear.
Ray Vergara and his team head out to check the runways, clearing FOD and checking for lightning damage.
They usually wait until about maybe 10 minutes after the last lightning strike hits before they open up their operations. Ramps open.
Operations can resume. But the damage is done. Even these few minutes delay will have a ripple effect across the nation. David Collery, however, has dodged the bullet. His shift is over. But chances are he'll get to see some of these passengers first thing tomorrow morning. Downstairs in the International Arrivals Lounge, a crowd of people has gathered. An already agonizing wait made worse by the weather.
What's going on behind us is that we have a flight that's coming in from Havana. So these folks are just waiting for their loved ones to come through.
Flights from Cuba, once restricted, are now a daily occurrence at MIA. But many of these families have been parted for years.
I'm waiting for my mom. She's coming from Cuba. Yes, but I left Cuba like 4 years ago. I'm nervous.
In fact, the majority of travelers are Cuban-born U.S. citizens returning from a visit home. Processing these passengers is a little different for CBP.
Permiso, ¿cómo están ustedes? ¿Ustedes vienen de La Habana ahora? 90% of all the Cubans that are coming through don't carry luggage with them. So there's no like, we can't go to one of the carriages and wait for them because they don't bring luggage. They go to Cuba, load it with packages, they drop it off, and they come back with a hand carry because 90% of them have nothing. They come out only with their clothes off their back.
It's still rare for the Cuban government to allow its own citizens to travel. Usually they're elderly family members who generally want to return to Cuba after a visit. But today, there's an exception. Supervisor Angel Marquez has been called to handle an unusual case, a new Cuban immigrant to the U.S. Marquez, a Cuban native himself, is clearly delighted.
De Wines, mentira. Yo soy de Wines también. Mi mamá es de Meridiano del Sur. Sí, ¿verdad que sí? Ven para acá. Ven para acá. She came in a K-1 visa. The K-1 visa is what we call the fiancé visa. Cuban.
This is Cuban Portuguese study?
Yes.
Okay.
She met somebody who she fell in love with, and they got engaged in Cuba. He applied for a petition to enter the United States under the K-1 visa.
¿Quién vive en esa dirección, Yamira?
My boyfriend.
Okay. Your boyfriend? Okay.
Jorge Félix.
Okay.
The visa is good for 90 days. 90 days later, being a Cuban, doing the Cuban Readjustment Act, she becomes a U.S. resident. 5 years after that, she's entitled to become a U.S. citizen. ¿Qué edad tiene ella?
Hoy es su cumpleaños.
Hoy es su cumpleaños. ¿Cuánto cumple? 4 añitos. 4 añitos. Felicidades.
The paperwork's in order. For this mother and child, the American dream is about to begin.
Camino con todo este abajo. Thank you, Mr. Silva. I appreciate it.
For Angel Marquez, this brings back memories.
Actually, I was 9 years old when I came over here. I was about a little bit bigger than she was, and that's how it is. My parents walked through here, they sat them down, went through the same process we're going through right now, and, okay, 10 years later, became a U.S. citizen. It's a rags to riches, like they say, a true immigrant story, and that's what happens to all of us.
Magdalena Villanueva is anxious about her mother, who's never traveled before. Tony Cooper's team steps in to help.
We went up to immigration and we checked on the status of her. She is there. This is something that is normal for the person of her age to go in and be interviewed by an inspector.
Oh my gosh. Like, is she okay, right?
She's fine. She's fine.
Okay.
Our pleasure.
I was really nervous because I was waiting here for 3 hours and I said, well, something happened, you know.
At last, the passengers begin to trickle out.
Rosa, she is in a wheelchair. Affirmative?
She's coming as we speak. She's coming as we speak. Okay, we copy. There she is.
We do that every day. We do that maybe 4 or 5 times a day. It's something that's real beautiful. You have to be here to feel that emotion, to see what's going on.
Evening at MIA comes gently. The crowds thin out, a pocket of scheduled flights only. Many day shift employees are headed out.
And it's time for me to get out of here. And tomorrow we'll do it again.
The waiting passengers are resigned to a night in the airport. but it's a 24-hour-a-day operation.
See, you don't have to be bored at the airport.
Many of the food services stay open. There's Cuban coffee all night. Police and canines are on the floor.
Listen to this. He leaves the car running, wide open, right by the ID section.
Customs and Border Protection have made no narcotic seizures today, but tomorrow's another day. Ray Vergara is on call through the night.
Another example of FOD.
His airfield has to be debris-free and open for business all night. In the aviation industry, a good day is when nothing happens. Nothing, that is, but this massive human migration, traveling safely through, onwards and up.
All done. But we'll start again tomorrow.
This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
We are PBS.